Hi, and welcome or welcome back if you've been here before. I thought I would provide a little bit of an update on a video that I made a couple months ago. And it was regarding one of the side hustles that I, at that time, had just kind of started. And it was the one that was making me the most money at that time. And it actually is the one that is still making me the most money currently. And if you are new here or you haven't seen my other videos, I was actually very recently laid off last week, at the end of last week. And so this side hustle is actually one that I'm going to now be relying heavily on because it is reliable. And the money comes actually pretty quickly. So, it is actually still Prolific. And so, if you have never heard of Prolific before, they are basically market research surveys. Um, I know something that gets discussed a lot is focus groups, and I actually heard about Prolific by watching some people on Instagram, and they were talking about focus groups and stuff that they were doing, and Prolific kind of came up, and I had kind of looked at some other ones, and they didn't fully work out. They didn't work out for me at that time. I will say that I'm actually going to try to add some of those back in because now that I'm unemployed, I have more time. Those other surveys or focus groups, they required more time and a little bit more of a structured schedule. So anyway, I decided to try Prolific back then, and I'm still actually doing it. So again, those are surveys. They can take anywhere from a minute to I've seen some for up to an hour. I haven't done any that were that long, but I've definitely done surveys that were, 20, 30 minutes long. So the higher the amount of time that you have to spend on it, the higher amount of money you get. And so, you get the ones that only take a minute, 5 minutes. They're going to pay anywhere from 10 cents, which I believe I don't officially know that it's the minimum. I have not seen any surveys that were lower than 10 cents, but 10 cents is absolutely an amount that is paid. So you might have a survey that's a minute, 2 minutes, and they will pay you like 10, 13 cents, something like that. And then you will have other surveys that they might take like 10, 15 minutes and then they'll pay you, maybe a couple dollars. So with Prolific, they actually pay, I guess these surveys are here and over. Um, I don't know if it's just the UK or I'm not exactly sure where they're completely located, but you are either paid, the survey actually either pays in either dollars or pounds. Now, I live in the United States, so we use dollars. And so when I get paid out, it is paid out to me in dollars. And so it is actually paid out through PayPal. So I can actually, request a payout and it actually goes right into my PayPal account and then I can request that money to be deposited. And for me, it's deposited the next day. So literally within 24 hours, I can have my money. Now there is a minimum. I think the minimum cash out is $6. I'm pretty sure that's the little box that pops up. Um, I usually let it add up a little bit. It kind of just depends on whatever my financial situation is that time, or maybe there's times where I was using it to say, okay, my cell phone bill is due this week. Let me make that money on Prolific. So I would make that much money, and then I would cash it out to pay that bill or whatever. So you can let it add up as much as you want, or you can just constantly cash it out. Now, if you first start out on Prolific, I think there is a delay of how often you can cash out. I'm pretty sure it was like a couple days. Um, and so you had to wait a couple days until you could cash out. So it took me a little bit to kind of work through that. And now I think it's only a couple hours now. So I can actually cash out multiple times a day if I want to. I haven't, but you can. So the number that I have it written down on my little tablet here. So the number that I'm sure you're kind of curious about is how much total have I made on Prolific? So the first survey that I ever took was on March 7th. So today is, hold on, today is August 5th. I had to look at the date. So today is August 5th. My first survey was March 7th. So almost exactly 5 months ago was my first survey. So I will flash a picture up here of the numbers, but I'm going to read them as well. So for dollars, I made $1,344.52. And then in pounds, it was 318.90 cents. Is it pence? I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. I don't. Which comes out to $429.53 US dollars. So total, I have made in the 5 months that I have been on Prolific, and this is up to just literally like 2 minutes ago, I pulled my numbers. Total I've made in the 5 months is $1,774.05. So not bad. I will say I did not at all add up how many surveys this came out to. I'm absolutely going to say hundreds, hundreds of surveys. Like I said, a lot of the surveys, they will pay lower amounts, but they're kind of quick. So I will share now that I'm no longer at that job and I don't have to care anymore what they think. There were periods throughout the day where I had no work, and that was no control. I had no control over the work that I got from my job. And so there were times where I had no work to do. So yes, I would do a minute survey here, a minute survey there. I also was doing them before work. I was also doing them on my lunch and then sometimes after work, but not too much because I worked until 7 p.m. So by that time, and I wake up at 7 a.m. So by that time I was not doing surveys. So I will say that for the most part, up until just recently that I was laid off, I was doing very short surveys. So only like a couple minutes, nothing more than like 10, 15 minutes. Those ones I did like on my lunch break or something like that. But if I had some breaks throughout the day, I worked from home. I would have my laptop and I would take a quick survey for like a minute or 2 minutes. Um, think whatever you want about that. It is what it is. Um, there's a lot that I could say about this company, and I'm not going to. So I don't feel bad about the fact that I did that. Um, yeah, I hated them. So there you go. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. It is about Prolific. So I think that's a decent amount. Again, hundreds of surveys. I think there was one time where I added up how many surveys I did in a day. It was on a weekend, and I think it was like 40 that I did in a day, but they were like tons of like little mini ones. A minute here, 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there. So yeah, that was a freaking lot. Wait, was it 40 in a day? Oh, it was 40 in 2 days. I'm sorry. It was over a weekend. So still, that average is like 20 a day. So yeah, but it has added up. It's added up to a good amount. So over $1,700 just made from these little surveys that just they ask you random things. So again, if you're not familiar, it could be, oh my goodness, anything. I've actually taken a couple today, and I'm going to try to think of some of them. So one of them was, here's a mock, like you pretend you're an HR recruiter, and it'll be like, hey, you need to hire for this position. Here's a pretend resume. Would you hire them? Another one was, here's a fake charity. If you had $100, how much would you give to this charity? And then others, they will ask you like a bunch of questions. There was another one that it was like, here are some social media posts. Do you think it's real or not real? So I mean, it could be anything. Some of them are very in depth. Some of them candidly will ask you the same question about 10 different times. So it'll kind of be redundant, I have to tell you. But fortunately, those type of surveys will pay a little bit more because they take a little bit longer. So again, it just kind of depends on it depends on whatever. It depends on how much money you're looking to make, how much time you have to spend on it, what you're willing to do, whatever. And they some of them will give you a description of what the survey's about. I will tell you that I feel like a lot of them either do not tell you what the survey's about, or I feel like they don't give you a full description of what the survey's about. Plus, some of the longer ones also, they have their own criteria of what they are looking for of the participants. So basically, they may be looking for males 40 to 50, females 20 to 35, but they don't give you any of that information in the beginning. So you basically will fill out questions about yourself. If you're a female, what's your age? Sometimes they'll ask you what your profession is. What is your yearly salary, something like that. Or they'll ask you like, hey, have you bought a refrigerator in the last year? Hey, are you looking to buy a new car? And so they're looking for certain people. And so you will answer those questions, and then you may not meet the criteria that they were looking for, and then you'll be screened out. And most of them will give you like 10 or 25 cents once you're screened out. So it's kind of nice that they didn't completely waste your time. And normally, pretty quickly that you're screened out. So, you just take them, just take the surveys and see where you get. And then some of them, yes, they tell you I'm looking for, there's surveys, they're like that a certain profession. I saw one that was for some type of developer. I know nothing. I'm not a coder. I don't know nothing about computers like that. So I didn't take that survey because I wasn't interested in it. Some of them require for you to be on camera. Some of them just want you to answer verbally. Some of them want you to listen to stuff. And then a majority of them are just kind of asking questions, but some of the other surveys, again, that take a little bit longer and they pay more, they ask a little bit more. I will tell you that I've tried to take a couple of the surveys that are on camera, and either I'm screened out or it doesn't work, or whatever. So I've only actually been able to take one, and I just had to record something really quick, and that was it. So I don't fully know how those work out. I believe some of them they say there's an interview. Some of them say it's an AI interview. Some of them, I'm assuming you're linked up with a human person. I honestly don't know that because I've never been able to take any of them. So, if I ever do, I'll update you. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of provide an update on how that is going for me. And again, I've made decent money for it. So it's something nice that if you are looking to have a way to bring in a little bit of extra income, you fully control it. So basically, however much time you have or want to spend on it, that you can do. Every day of the week, surveys pop up. I will tell you on the weekends, there are less than during the week. And I'll also say that earlier in the day, I feel like a bunch load in, and then throughout the day, it might be hit or miss. They also update all day long. I don't know what time they stop, just because, again, I've never really done them late in the evening, but they possibly could still be there. I have actually come the next morning and logged on and saw some of the same surveys, like a couple will still be lingering over. So again, I don't know how long they sit in there, but I will say that all day long it updates. You can actually I do it on my laptop. You can do it on your phone, and there are some surveys that actually want you to do it on your phone, and that is the only way that you can take it. But I use my laptop, and so I will be sitting there. I can have my laptop open and have the website open, and it will refresh automatically, so you can see an instant feed of new surveys that kind of come in. So there's times where I'll just kind of be in my office and I'll have my laptop open and I'll be cleaning or something like that, and then I'll see it refresh, and then I'll take a peek at whatever new surveys have popped up. So, yeah, if this is something that you're interested in doing, you're interested in bringing a little bit of extra income that you can do at home, and you can do around whatever schedule you have. So this is actually great for, I'm a single mom, but my youngest is 18 now, so that doesn't really matter. But if you have, little babies or something like that, I know sometimes when the kids take a nap, you want to relax or you want to clean the house. But hey, you can also, jump in and do a couple surveys to bring in a little extra money. It's again something you can work around a full-time work schedule, a part-time work schedule. You can do it add it to 700 other side hustles that you're working on like me. So it is a great way to bring in extra money. I like the way they pay. I know some other surveys and for focus groups, they pay with gift cards and stuff like that. This one is cash. It goes right into my PayPal account. And then, like I said, it gets deposited into my account. So I really love it. I'm actually going to be using it a lot now that I was laid off. I'm actually going to use it to fill some of the gap of my income. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I will update you probably in maybe in another couple months now that I have more time to spend on it. And I'm going to try to do some of the other surveys that I couldn't do because I couldn't really fit into my schedule. And I'll also be trying some other things. So I'll give you an update about that too. So there we go. I will continue to do them and hopefully make lots of money. All right. I hope you have a great day and we will talk soon. Bye.